My training was pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It was all very touchy-feely stuff, which is fine. I'm not bothered by that at all. A lot of times it's stuff I already do. Yeah. It was interesting to see how other people took it. Here comes everyone. Let me see. There's Bro. I've got a couple people that logged in. Bro. Derek is in. But I don't know.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to probably just keep everybody muted until we can get to a place where everyone is connected. And I don't usually unmute everyone at the same time because really what happens is then we can't hear anyone. Just going to ask the attorney from the law firm, Jonathan Stone. Can you unmute and let me know if you're driving? Are you driving, Attorney Stovall? You'll have to unmute for me to hear you.
I am pulled over right now.
Okay, because yeah, we're not allowed to drive on a video. So, So if that's something that happens, then my policy is to disconnect people. They don't lose their place in line and they're just asked to wait safely and log in. So just make sure for everybody, please. I see a few people in cars that don't appear to be moving, but I'm just letting everyone know the policy. Another policy is to get on screen if you can. And I'm just asking a few people to do that. I have a phone caller that I don't know who it is. It's from an area code that looks like 567 and a phone number ending in 593. Person on the phone call the number that I just called out. Could you unmute, please, and let us know your name? If you could. So I'll keep trying to do that. But I did open the breakout room for the pre-trial. And actually, Attorney Stovall, you and Mr. Mattson, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all get started since I think y'all both are familiar with the laws. So I'm going to send y'all over to that breakout room. Y'all can go ahead and start your pretrial and we'll bring you back or you'll come back just to check in before you leave today. So I do want to let everyone know kind of the same thing. I like to get everybody on the same page. And that is that when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law. That's what it is. A ticket is an accusation. And when you give a plea, you're giving an answer or response to that accusation. There are three options for pleading: guilty, not guilty, no contest. And we probably all know this part, but the law presumes we're not guilty. So if you plead guilty or no contest, you're shifting gears, basically. If you plead not guilty, you're heading toward a trial because the state is going to be required to prove that case against you. So ultimately, indirectly, pleading not guilty is a process that you're engaging to, because the state is now going to have the burden of proof. Okay. And those are things we say, but what that means really for us, like boots on the ground, I'm a big fan of that, is that you're moving that case toward a trial process. And today there's a pretrial docket. And then there would be the next thing, which would be we come into the court to do the setting up for trial, any pretrial matters that need to get hammered out before we get a jury or the judge, that would be me, in to discuss the case and have a trial and make a final decision. We do that in two parts. So today is one part. The second part is to come in and then we calendar and schedule events. If you plead guilty or no contest, we're just working through sentencing. And I have several options that still become available under the law that allow for a dismissal. And I'll tell you what they are. And then I'll tell you a little bit about how they work. So the dismissal options that are available from the court, even where you've pleaded guilty or no contest, are things that can be dismissed for compliance, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court. And I'm going to tell you how this work in a moment. Mr. Stovall, Mr. Mattson, if y'all could just let me know, where are we with regard? I believe this is the Grimes case. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Stovall is going to take an offer back to his client.
Of course. So I have that scheduled for final pretrial, which is also a plea docket. It kind of works both ways depending on where we are with the case. We're coming here to the building. We're checking in September 7th at 3:00. That's a little bit more than 2.5 weeks. So I'm thinking it's good. Any conflicts with that time that anyone's aware of right now, Mr. Mattson?
No, Your Honor.
Okay,
No,
Mr.
Your-
Stovall? Okay.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And I'm just going to make a note that you tuned in, Mr. Stovall, because sometimes I get different attorneys from that firm. And y'all are all, of course, welcome. So we will go ahead and make sure that's on that docket for that time. And with the thanks of the court, Mr. Stovall, you're good to withdraw at this time.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. You are wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. Mr. Swain, I'm going to go ahead also and move you forward, if you will. And I think you know the drill. So I just also wanted to make sure I got people identified. Gentleman with a Samsung, he's just identified as Samsung with numbers. I think it might be Mr. Davis. Is that you, Mr. Davis? What is your name? So just, there you go.
Arthur Ambery.
Ambery, sorry.
Yes.
Excuse me. Spell that last name? Oh, there we go. Mr. Ambery.
Mhm.
Great. Now I know which file to put in what order, so that helps keep things running smoothly, and I'll get you queued up with your with your file. So I'm going to change the name on the screen so that I don't
Okay.
lose track of you. It won't change it permanently, so whoever or whatever you use that for in your regular life, you don't need to worry, because it's not, the moment you log out, it'll go back to what you started with.
Okay.
But it's just for my benefit. But if you see it change on the screen, don't be concerned. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. And then there's a gentleman named William, and I identified you as William Aldridge. Is that you, Mr. Aldridge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. And then Rome 7200. Could you tell me your name?
Yeah, it's Brian Strong.
Last name is Strong?
Yes, ma'am.
There we go. Thank you. I see you there. Okay. And just the same thing. I'm just going to change it for this meeting. Okay. And I'll make sure your file is where it needs to be here. I'm a big fan of staying in order so that people who logged in first, et cetera. I was watching as people logged in. But I'm going to try the phone caller one more time. Hello on the telephone. And I'm just hitting you with an unmute request. And the area code looks to be a 567 area code. Can you talk to me? It's maybe from Ohio. So what happens now is that I feel like if I can't talk to you, I can't see you, and I don't know who you are, I don't feel like I can effectively have a pretrial with you. I'm just going to look and see if anyone's listed from Ohio in my list. But really what I normally do is just disconnect you and see if you log back in a way that maybe you're not hearing me. Maybe we could get to a place where you could hear me. Because right now, it's not what I call a pretrial. It's called me talking into the air. So, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And maybe you're not hearing me because the connection might not be good. So if you can hear me, I can't hear you on the telephone, and I need you to unmute. And I'm sending you unmute request, which should prompt your phone. So I'm not sure that you're there anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect. If you can hear me and you think there's a problem, call the clerk Or you're welcome to try to log back in. And maybe we can solve it that way. And I've got a late person I'm gonna let in, and then we'll start. So where I was the 4 ways to gain a dismissal. And I just like everybody to be on the same page, to know what I have available. That way you can ask questions about it if you have them. I can't give you legal advice, but I can tell you how things work in a court. Legal advice is where I tell you that, and then I take your facts and apply them to your case. And I can't do that. So if you have questions and I can't answer them because I can't give legal advice, I'll let you know. But when it's your turn, you can ask questions. If I'm allowed legally to answer, I will do so. So it's pretty simple. Compliance dismissals are things that can be brought up to date and dismissed, and the law has to specify that. I will be looking for those with you, okay? Because it's all very detail specific, and the law is really clear that the judge shall do so, which means I'm supposed to drive that a little bit and see if we can get you there. So I'll do that, but you're welcome to ask questions about it. Those are usually simple things like a broken headlight, stuff like that. That's like just one example. They all have, can we turn the reading? They all have real details involved with them. Just ask if you feel like I'm missing something on that, but I will be looking for that. 2, the second option, driving safety course options are cases like moving violations that can be dismissed. And Texas has a program, not all states do. It is very detail specific. And once again, I'll walk you through those details because most people don't wake up knowing like the 4 things you have to do. So I'll walk you through those, okay? There's some presumptions that the law makes, but I still like to err on the side of giving a lot of information. So but I try to strike that balance where I don't just gloss you over with too much detail. So I will walk you through that, but it's a really good moment right now to just talk about fines and costs. They always say the 2 things you don't want to talk with people about are politics and money, and we're not going to talk about politics. But we do have to talk about money because traffic tickets, especially, but all offenses this is a Class C court. Offenses in a Class C court result, if you're convicted, and sometimes even if you're not, of costs and fines. And if you called the court when you got the ticket and said, how much is this ticket? They gave you the costs and fines combined. There's a lot of ways to look at that combined number. You can break it into costs and fines. You can take those costs and break them down into all these funds that the state uses them for. It's very detailed and specific. And that's one of those gloss people over things. But when you have the driving safety course, the fines will go on hold. And if you get your course and your driving record turned in on time, and it's got to be the right course and the right record and on time, your ticket gets dismissed. You still pay that court cost, and we don't keep it. We send it to the state of Texas. Fines stay local. They don't pay us, and they don't pay incidentally the police department. They're actually restricted to a certain extent. They go to things like sidewalks and roads and things that we actually like to have. But those go on hold, and you actually don't pay them if you're in the program properly and you get it done. You get a dismissal, it doesn't go on your driving record, and you don't pay the fine. You do pay the court costs though, and they aren't cheap. They range from like $144 to $169. And I'll be looking for when is that going to happen with you, because they do all have to get paid at once. So I'll walk you through that again. That's another detail thing that I'll walk you through. But those are 2 things where I'm walking you through, and you can assume that I'll be doing that because the law says the judge shall. Okay. The third thing I mentioned was a deferred disposition. And that is really like, it looks like probation, but it isn't called that because there's no probation office. But there's a period of time where you don't reoffend, you don't get in trouble, you don't have warrants, you don't fail to come to court. There's going to be a pay structure for dealing with your fine. So once again, we will talk about money. Sometimes there's a class, a record, a certificate. There are things you might need to be doing that you are affirmatively doing, and you keep your address current. Those range from usually 3 to 6 months long. The big thing there, the trick on that one, and listen up if you've tuned me out already, the trick on the deferred disposition is you've got to ask when your plea is accepted by the judge. So guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred. It was on the sheet that you filled out, but sometimes people did not know what that meant. And so I like to explain it because it works a little differently in a Class C court, even than a county court. There's two different things. Those are called deferred adjudications. There's a little difference. Ours are called deferred dispositions. Deferred means delay, and disposition means to make something final. And I delay making your case final, put a court order in place. If I grant it, you agree to the conditions that I'm saying I'm going to give you, you get them done, and you get a dismissal. So it's a known course of action that I think can be very effective. I'm very open to those requests, but I don't push them on people because the law tells me that you're supposed to ask first. So there's a mother may I, and you can ask a judge in a Class C court. You have to ask the prosecutor in a Class B court and greater. So you also can ask the prosecutor and you can ask the judge. So that's a little bit of a split thing there. Both can drive that forward. But you must make the request, and then I am free to say no to those requests. But I won't debate rulings with you today, but I can tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing because I'm very transparent. But I'm not going to argue, especially in Zoom. But it's just not appropriate for court that we argue. And I do have discretion over that piece. That said, I'm open to the request each and every time. The law is very clear that I should be, and I take that duty seriously. So the way that looks is guilty or no contest. I'd like a deferred. It's not very complicated. People do worry about magic language when they get into courts. That's the third option. And then the fourth one is teen court. And usually if you are in school and it's a first offense, I'm usually looking to see if you want to do teen court. There are a few exceptions. So those are the four things. The prosecutor, if you're on the contested docket, sometimes makes an offer on the case, sometimes not, and is not required to do so. But the purpose of the pretrial is to see if the parties can come to a conclusion. I expect the prosecutor and the defendant both to take their case seriously, figure out what they can and can't do, what they're willing to do and not do in the process of heading toward a trial, which is not a problem. But since we use public funds to conduct trials, I want everybody to be serious about what they're asking for. We don't want to just set things because we don't know what else to do. Okay. And there are lots of good reasons why people have trials. You're not expected to explain it to me. I'm just asking for you to really internally search, but I'm not asking for you to explain it. If you want a trial, we will head in that direction. In connection with that, Attorney Swain, Attorney Mattson, if you could tell me where we are with regard to the Gonzalez case, that would be great.
Mr. Swain's going to take an offer back to his client, Your Honor.
Okay, I have that final setting for September 7th at 2. And incidentally, we also have that set for discovery on that date. So
I have that judge. Sorry.
his discovery.
Sorry to cut you off, Mr. Swain. Yes, Your Honor. I just sent Mr. Swain discovery a moment
Okay,
ago.
so that's done. I'll mark that off. And once we have I just need the sheet back that demonstrates that it was done. And then we're good.
Yes, Judge. I wanted to say I do have the setting for the 7th, but I received an email saying that it was rescheduled for 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm not sure if that's accurate.
Did move it to 1 so that you could come then, Attorney Swain. And I think I just got the older information on my page.
Oh, that's fine. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, no, I appreciate your thoroughness.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're good to go.
We appreciate it.
Thanks very much. And then now I'm just moving forward with all the dockets at this point. I'll stop talking about the general stuff. On the contested docket, the not guilty docket, Jennifer Henson was the first to log in. Ms. Henson, you've probably seen the attorneys coming in and out. The same thing. You'll meet with Mr. Mattson, who is our prosecutor. He doesn't represent you. He represents the opposing side. He'll probably tell you that. And I'll move you over. And when y'all are done having a conversation, you'll come back over to this meeting. And you can unmute now. Let's make sure your audio is working. And how are you today?
Well, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks very much.
Good. Good to hear it.
Great. I'm going to move you on over to that meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And I'm gonna let in, I think everybody saw me a few minutes ago with a person on the phone. Got a phone person, 254 ending in 906. Could you tell me your name? Hello on the phone? I sent you a mute.
Hi, how's it going, Your Honor?
Hi, who are you, please?
Colby Macy.
There we go. I found you. Mr. Macy, it's not uncommon that when people are on the phone, sometimes, and especially because you logged in a little bit after other folks, no big deal, we'll get to you. But what I want you to know is at some point I'll call your name out and I expect you to be there. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. I was having trouble with the connecting to the Zoom call. I clicked the link, and whenever it sent me over to Zoom, it said it was an invalid PIN, so I had to go back in my email and search through all the emails.
It's
and
okay.
I finally found it, so I had to call it.
No, it's thank you very much. And I appreciate that. I will tell you not to worry, but at some point I'll call out your name and I'll be asking you to unmute because it'll be your turn. What you're not seeing,
Okay.
because what you're not seeing, and not everybody sees these Zoom things quite the same way because the technology is different on all our various devices, is that I see everybody. I don't see the pretrial for folks who are here for that. And I don't hear that breakout room, but I do know where you are. I can see you in a room. And on folks who are here just on my screen, I see everybody, but you don't. So, Mr. Macy, what you're not seeing is that there are several people ahead of you in line, but we will make time for you as well. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to remute you. I'm going to talk to one more person. And then my next kind of person up will be Mr. Benitez Rios, Alexis. So I'll be with you in a moment, Mr. Benitez. Okay, let me let in this person on a phone call and see if we can figure out who they are this time. A phone caller that just came in, 567 area code. Hello, who are you, please? Yeah, what's your name? So you've unmuted and that's great, but I cannot hear you. Can you either speak louder? So I don't know who you are. And I'm going to say that you should call the front desk and let them know who you are. I don't know why your telephone isn't working, but the office number here is 254-298-5687. Yeah, hi. Hello? Two 254-298-5687. You need to call the
Hello?
clerk. Yeah, hi. What is your name?
My name is Arthur Ambery.
Okay, Mr. Ambery. I already have you elsewhere, don't I?
Yes, because my number is that's an old number. I don't know why they got
Okay,
it up under
well,
25.
No, not I.
No,
567.
567. No, my number is 0516.
Yeah, I was actually talking to the person on the telephone who is has an area code 567. I'm going to remute you, Mr. Ambery, but your turn is about to happen. But it's coming up. But right now, I'm actually was talking to a different party.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. This is all, listen, folks, it's really great that we have this technology, and especially, gas is not exactly cheap, and people can be in the convenience of their situation and not take off as much from work and all of those. Those are good things. But I'm going to do my level best to communicate with everyone. But the phone caller on 567-593, I can't hear you. And the phone keeps acting like I'm going to be able to hear you, but I can't. So I need you to call the clerk's desk, 254-298-5687. And I'm going to actually disconnect you at this time because I don't know, I can't even see your full number to call you back. And I can't communicate with you. So we can't have a pretrial or a court hearing that way. Mr. Mattson, let me see if I can get back Ms. Henson. There we go. Thank you, Ms. Henson. And Mr. Mattson, where are we with Ms. Henson?
Your Honor, there's two different tickets.
Yes.
The first one is the registration ticket. I'll be dismissing that one.
Okay.
And then
Is
on
that-
the,
Is
I'm
that
sorry?
Is that a compliance dismissal?
we can call it that.
Okay, but I mean, is there proof shown?
Her car is totaled, Your Honor, so registration doesn't really attach to it anymore.
Okay, so it's a prosecutor dismissal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Keep going.
And then on the failing to yield right of way, I'll be filing a motion to reduce the fine.
Okay, what are we going from and to?
The fine right now is 135. I will be reducing it to 20, which puts the total cost at 154.
Okay, we can do that here in the court. Yes. And if you'll just send that prosecutor dismissal over. I'm gonna, Miss Henson, just stay on the line for a moment.
Okay.
And Mr. Mattson, Mr. Ambry is next. Mr. Ambry already unmuted earlier, so I know his audio is working. And I'll just send y'all on over to that room at this time. Mr. Ambry, after that meeting, you've probably already seen this, you'll be coming back in.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Henson, my only question is on this 154. I'll follow what you and the prosecutor have come to in terms of an agreement. But my question is, when can you make payment? Do you need time?
Oh, no, I was planning on going over around at lunchtime today.
Okay, I'll make a note of that.
Okay,
And we'll have everything at the front desk by then. We should probably
Okay.
have, we'll probably have your dismissal
okay. Is that
available too.
yeah, the courthouse or the city building?
So where you came before and fill out all those forms for us is going to be where you just come right back.
Okay, sounds
Okay,
good.
but instead of taking tons of time, it'll just probably take 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Henson. You're good to exit.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am. And I would like to talk to Mr. Benitez. And Mr. Benitez, get all the way on screen. That's going to help too. But if you would start by unmuting so that I can hear you. Hi, good
Yes, Your
morning.
Honor. Good morning.
Good morning. Can I get your full face? Like you just have to put your screen down. Perfect. How are you this morning?
Good. How about you?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm Judge Person. I did receive the information that you gave me, and thank you. How I read this is you were charged with a speeding offense. Your fines and costs total $294. You are enrolled in school. Let's see. And you are pleading guilty to the charge of speeding and asking for teen court, which is a dismissal process. Is that sounding accurate to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I can allow teen court, but teen court at this point is where you come to court. It's actually at the high school. And so a group of your peers will listen to the facts of your case. They're not contested because you pled to it. It'll be a sentencing hearing. And in order to get into that program, there's a $20 cash fee that needs to get paid. I would prefer to do that today and do your paperwork for getting involved in that process today. So really there's two questions. One is, can you pay the $20 fee today? And two would be, when can you come up to the building to meet with the case manager to sign up to get geared up to go to teen court?
I can pay it today and go today too.
Okay. What time should we look for you today?
11.
Okay. That'll work really well. The actual teen court trial date, which is sentencing, will be September 21st. And we'll start right after school. It's at 3:30. You're 18, you don't have to bring a parent. You may bring a parent. It's easier if you do, because if there are things to do that involve them getting involved, well, then they're already there. You don't have to bring both parents, but if one parent can come, that's truly a good thing. Okay. Today, though, you can come and sign up for your paperwork alone. Another thing, on September 21st at 3:30, what we're doing then is a sentencing hearing. You will be expected to stay until we finish all the cases that day, because listening to court is just as important as your case. Okay. And so we usually run till about 6:30. You'll also need to have a way to get home. Okay. And the clerk, case manager, Ms. Stotts, will review everything with you when you're here. Okay. Okay. So she'll look for you around 11. Okay. All right. We'll see you then. Thank you. You're good to go. Okay. And let me get Mr. Amber. Wait. He should be coming back in. I've sent it. There we go. Okay. Mr. Matson, Mr. Embry, where are we with regard to this matter?
We're going to go ahead and set for final, Your Honor. Mr. Embry would like to proceed towards trial.
Okay, that's fine. Mr. Embry, we will do your pre-trial final September 7th at 3. That's not a trial setting, but it's probably about, I would plan to be here maybe 30 minutes or so. We're going to do final paperwork for setting a bond and figuring out, what all we need to do to get ready to head into trial. So we'll see you September 7th at 3, okay? Yes? So just unmute.
Thank you.
So thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you then.
All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
You're good to go. Mr. Matson, I'm moving you forward to talk to Brian Strong. And Mr. Strong, I know your audio is working because we spoke a few moments ago, but you can go ahead and unmute, and I'll let you go on over to that meeting, and you'll be coming back at the end. I think you already figured that out. So there y'all go. Telephone callers that have come in late, let me ask your name. 254-89 ending in 896. Phone number, yeah, you've unmuted. Can you tell me your name, please? Hello on the telephone.
Hello, this is Tony Davis.
Hi, Mr. Davis. Good to hear
Yes,
from
ma'am.
you.
How you?
Hi, I'm good. So, yeah, we'll be getting to you shortly, okay?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
But just when I call your name here in a few minutes, just make sure that you are listening, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes on the phone, people don't realize it's about to be their turn because they can't see what we're doing. So just be listening carefully, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to remute you right now, but we'll get back over to you soon.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And there's another phone call, a different one, and it's a 254 area code ending and with a phone number ending in 512. Can you please unmute and tell me your name? Hello on the telephone, ending in 512. You just came into the meeting. Surely you're still listening. Hello, phone caller. I'll try you in again in a moment. I want to move forward. William Aldridge, could you unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, how are you today?
Doing good. And yourself?
Are you still working at Tesla?
No, not currently.
Okay, where are you working?
Actually nowhere at the moment.
Okay. When did that change?
About a week and a half ago.
Okay. So, right, so we're at a point where everything is behind, and right now you don't have income. And I guess you're living with family, or what's going on because you don't have rent or bills?
Living with family at the moment.
Okay. Are you in the Temple area?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so I can order community service for your ticket. In doing that, let me see what it would be. You would, instead of making payment, you would do 17 hours. It would be due in a month, which is September 20th. And if you'll have to come up to the building to pick up your packet so that you can sign the waiver form. There's a waiver form for some of the providers and a list of places where you can do the work. It is advisable that you stay on the list because it's pre-approved. There will be written instructions that tell you what to do in case you change what you're doing and you go off the list. That list will that list of rules will also tell you what I do and don't accept so that you can be successful. We'd like you to successfully complete it. You do this because I've determined that you're indigent and therefore you can work it off through community service. And so we're shifting you off your payment plan onto community service. Do you feel like you can get that done?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. When can we look for you to come pick up your packet today?
I said 2 p.m.
Okay, we'll look for you around 2-ish. Just come up to the clerk's window, let them know your name and that you're there to pick up your community service. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Incidentally, I have a question. Do you know what's happened with your license?
It's been I believe suspended at this time.
Okay, do you know why?
I believe for failure to use a turn signal
So maybe
or my
multiple.
2 tickets.
Okay. That doesn't
Yes, Your
sound
Honor.
exactly correct. So what I'm going to do is give you what I call the super packet, and there'll be information in there for how to get an occupational license. It's a walkthrough packet that the state makes available online, and I just printed it for your convenience. And it'll also show you how to figure out what's going on with your license.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll have that for you along with your community service stuff. It will include everything you need to file to get your license into an occupational status with some restrictions so you can lawfully drive to a job. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have any questions before I let you go?
Could you repeat that? It cut out for me.
Oh, I said, do you have any questions before I let you go?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll see you around 2.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's okay. Well, it's better than reprinting and wasting more paper. I think that's fine. So I'm just working on getting Mr. Strong back over. Also, just asking the phone caller a moment ago, phone caller 254 area code, but ending in 512. Can you unmute and tell me who you are, please? I'm about to remove you from the meeting, so it would be best if you identify yourself. Let me come at it another way. If I call your name.
Good.
Hi, who are you?
I'm Christopher Woger, Woger.
Okay, great, Mr. Woger. I have you on my list. Great. Your turn will come up soon, and I'll call your name out loud when it's your turn, okay?
Okay.
When I do that,
Thank you.
you'll have to unmute again, okay?
Okay.
So just be listening, and I'll call your name, okay?
Okay, I know.
Okay. All right. On Mr. Strong's case, gentlemen, where are we?
Your Honor, Mr. Strong is going to be submitting some paperwork to the court by the end of the week, so we can go ahead and set for final, but I anticipate being resolved prior to that.
Okay, Mr. Strong, I'm going to go ahead and schedule you to be in the building on September 7th at 2. It sounds like that could get canceled by some kind of agreement that the two of you have happening. I don't get involved in that yet. And it's actually appropriate that I don't know what all is going on with that because it's, it's part of the pretrial process. So that's not at all unusual. But if you and Mr. Matson come to an agreement prior, I'm just asking from both of you that I have everything that I would need prior to that date in order to resolve everything and take it into resolution. If it's not that way, I will not take it off that docket. So if you think it's resolved, just check still that morning and make sure that we've pulled it off the docket. Because if I haven't pulled it off the docket, it means I think I can't close it. And therefore I want everybody here so we can stay on the same page. Okay, does that make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Any questions before I let you go?
No questions at all.
Okay, thank you, sir. You have a blessed day.
You too.
All right. Mr. Matson, let me see. I don't know that we have anyone else for you this morning. Let me just check. I don't anticipate any yeses to this, but if I call your name, speak up. Talik Armstrong, are you here? Tina Bauer, are you here? Daniel Carr, are you here? Richard Vinson or Attorney Garcia Vela, are you here? Okay, we will move forward with warrants on those cases. And then I will also call for Ignacio Olvera Sagehan, Olvera Sagan. Okay, so Mr. Matson, you are good to go with the thanks of the court. You're excused today. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before I leave, just wanted to clarify, did you need the motion to reduce for Mrs. Henson as well?
No, we did that because
Okay.
of the oral motion. Since we can do those over here, the prosecutor dismissal on her, sorry, was she one? I had a prosecutor dismissal early on. I can't remember, on a registration.
Yes, Your Honor. That was
that
her.
one. We're looking for that paper from you.
Okay, I will get that printed out and sent over to you shortly.
That's all we're looking for to get back from you.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good one.
You too. Okay, so moving forward, I would like to talk next with Craisine Simmons. Ms. Simmons, can you get on screen and unmute, please?
Yes.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Thank you. I'm good. Can you get on screen? Is there something preventing that?
Let me try.
I keep sending a request and it doesn't happen, so I'm
Can you
just
see
curious.
me? I think I clicked it too fast. Oh, okay.
There you are. Okay, so we had a few things going on and you're on time for court, so that reserves some help that you have with regard to these cases. There's a violation of your license restriction, and that's one of those things. Are you able to get that off like within the next, have you gotten it off really, is the question.
The what?
The restriction to your license?
I ain't know I had that.
Well, you were ticketed for it and it says it on your license.
How you get that off?
You have to go to DPS and check out their website.
Oh,
Um,
then, yeah, I think I
Yeah.
got that because I have an appointment coming up.
when is that appointment?
Can you look on there for me and tell me what the day say? August 24th at 3 o'clock.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Give me one more second. I need to check in on something.
Okay.
I have the previous notes and it says King Court granted. Has she signed up for King Court? Yeah. I don't see her King Court order. I can see what I wrote down, so I'm not sure if she signed up, but things being looked
We
at.
signed up. I have the paper.
Yeah, I know, but I'd like to look at it. Okay, so August 24th. So what I would suggest, since that's within 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to. I mean, if you want to just take the hit and pay the 181, we could do that, but I'm trying to get you to a dismissal.
I didn't say anything. Yes, ma'am, but I'm sorry if I did anything. But
So you need to work on how you approach a court, because like right now, you're leaning against the bed, you've got your hand in your face, you're reacting really strongly. When you do that in a courtroom, you get held in contempt and you go to jail, and you're 17. So the answer is I either work with you and talk to you about it, or I remove you and we don't work together,
Okay.
because you're not entitled to act that way.
Okay.
Period. You start. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
I can reschedule you to bring up that license that's been with that thing taken off.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of $181, you would pay, I believe it's a $20 dismissal fee.
Yes, ma'am. We paid that. You want the paper? I got it over here.
No, you paid that for a different thing. I'm talking about your license restriction, and you're
Yes, ma'am.
talking about your insurance case. That's different. I'm talking to you about the license restriction.
Okay.
Okay. So just that's what I'm talking to you about. We'll talk about the other case in a minute.
Okay.
It's easily confused because I'm purposely putting you on the same date that you were going to come and bring all the stuff you need to bring for that case. So August 24th, you're going to go get the restriction removed, and you can bring it up here and pay a $20 fee and get that case dismissed, the license restriction.
Okay.
But I need your signature on the extension to do that. So did they come up last time? I guess they did. We'll just have to ask you to swing by to sign for that today. What time can we get you here to do that?
Anything after 2.
Okay. Anytime after 2 is fine. I'll put 2:30. Does that work for you? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's what that's going to do. And then that's the same day you're coming in anyway, and you'll be turning in proof of insurance like we talked about, and your essay like we talked about that is in this order here that you signed. Okay. And that's the due date for all of that. Wait a minute. See, hold on, sir. I'm really confused because this says we're doing it.
Can you hand me that paper,
This
please?
says we're coming.
Because I'm not confused.
Okay, so that's just not.
Oh, no, no. I'm not.
Okay, I was getting confused. So I've got it straightened out. So yeah, you have that essay and you have proof of insurance. Do that same date when you're coming back to turn in the license. So you'll just bring those 3 items, and that'll be what we're looking for to be able to dismiss everything and save you like the $462, right?
Okay.
Okay, so we'll see you today at 2:30, okay?
Okay.
All right, we'll see you then. Moving forward, Mr. Norman, I know you're there. Hi, how are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Let me get your file. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of run through everything and tell you where I think we are. So we have some new cases for rubbish. June 13th, July 7th, and July 21st. I want to ask you about those. before we move into the next cases, the community service issue. There is a, let's see, a rubbish charge being alleged from June 13th. The fines and costs are $576. If your court date is today on that charge, how are you pleading to that charge?
No contest. And Your Honor, I don't know if you all just received it, but I filled out that information on my iPad and I emailed it to Court Online Help just maybe 10 minutes ago.
Okay, we'll look. Okay. And there's also but we can do it orally till she pulls all that up. There is another rubbish charge from July 7th. The fines and costs are $576. And today is your court date. How are you pleading to that charge?
No contest.
And then there is another charge from July 21st. The fines and costs are $581. How are you pleading to that charge?
No contest.
Okay. All right. Then I have some photos. And I'm looking at the photos that you provided. What do you feel like this tells me?
I feel like it shows that I have it shows how many I can get taken care of in a load, and it shows that I should, well, what I saw was I should be able to get them done, I would say, in about 4 loads, because that load there was 35 tires, and I actually called the guy who took my tires off. I called him Sunday and scheduled him to come Monday, but he said he had an oil leak in his truck, a severe oil leak. And so I'm going to contact him again when I got out of court. But what I want to do is I want to have him on schedule somewhere between like 2 and 3 weeks, because I helped my mom with getting some of her stuff together for an event she was going to, Mary Kay Wise. And then I had also helped my father sell one of his vehicles. So I want to be able to get 30 to 40 tires gone per load. And so I feel like it's showing that I can get the tires gone. It's showing progress. And hopefully, here in the next month or two, I hope it doesn't go over 3 months, but I want to do every 2 to 3 weeks. So over the next month or two, hopefully I can have all those tires are outside finally gone.
Well, they're going to just keep following. They're just going to keep stacking. These cases are just going to keep stacking up. They're going to keep filing because you're just on their to-do list until it's done.
Yes, ma'am.
So community service was due August 2nd. I've extended you for a while now. Let me look at that order real quickly. Our due date right now was August 2nd. We had 320 hours. I can add these cases, but I need to start seeing some hours.
Yes, ma'am. I thought last time we were on the Zoom call that you said something if I can be showing progress with my tires that it would be able to go towards my hours.
What I said was I would consider reducing your hours if you got the problem solved. But what you're telling me is maybe in a few months. And what I was looking for is it was solved a month or two ago. It was solved like by your due date, which was August 2nd. I can give you more time to do your hours, but I'm not going to be able to erase your hours, especially with more charges.
Yes, ma'am.
And I can't do a reduction of problems still exist. I was trying to get you to really knock that down, get it out of the way, and stop having charges happening.
Me too.
And so to me, the deal was it's gone, and I look at a reduction of the hours by today. So I don't really see that right now, but I'm still willing to work with you on that. But if it's going to take you 2 or 3 months, you're probably going to have another 6 or 9 charges by then. So to me, that means you would just be working at getting that done. But what you're telling me is you put in some work every 2 or 3 weeks. Well, there's some time in there where you could do some community service too. So
Do some
I'll
before
add
meet.
these, and I'll give you an extension of 2 months. But to me, at that point, my thought would be you would be turning in half your hours or more of the next number. Let me get the number first, and I'll tell you specifically a number. And
Okay.
and the property would be clear and no new charges would be filed. For me to look at a reduction. Okay, so let me give you the actual hours that it needs to be. If no reduction is done, there's 410 hours now. And there's a due date of October 18th.
Okay.
And that's a due date. And let's set it for Zoom. You're welcome to, I'm going to set you for a Zoom time for that date. So you can email in your hours, use the list we provide you, because you don't want to get off in the weeds into something that isn't going to count, and keep plugging away at this problem. And because, what I'm recognizing as court is that you got in over your head.
Yes.
And, you need to get yourself out. And I can't do that for you, but I can reward it. What I would be looking for is, at least I'm going to want those hours. Let's just say I'm going to want all those hours for now. And then I will consider what I do depending on how many hours you turn in and the progress you've made on your property.
Okay.
That's a moving target. I'm willing to look at what you're providing, but really for me, what I want is for you to not be on my to-do list.
Me too. Me too.
I know. No offense, please, but this is not the way I prefer to get to know people. So I really want you to get this cleared up. I'm sorry, I'm just adding everything to your order. And dating it so that we know when we did what, because I do like to keep thorough notes. Okay, so I don't know, we may have more charges by then, and those hours may be going up. But again, if you got your hours turned in and you have new charges and you cleaned up at that point, then I'm looking at a real different way of approaching this.
Yes, ma'am.
If it's still just a problem, but I appreciate you showing me the logic, and that really allows me to kind of work with you a little bit more. Instead of, if you're blowing smoke.
Mhm.
And I'm just making notes of what I'm telling you.
All right.
Okay. Just keep communicating with me. Okay. If you
Yes,
get new
ma'am.
charges, come in and have them added to the next court date, which is going to be October 18th.
Yes, ma'am.
Due date for everything. Right. Try to speed it up.
All right.
You get
Thank
done
you all.
earlier. If you get done earlier, come in and let them know you're ready to talk to me.
Yes, ma'am. Will do.
Okay. You're welcome to come by and get a copy. We can email you the new due date sheet, but do you still have the provider list?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
Okay. All right. Well, then we'll send you the hour, the hour log sheet. That'll
Yes,
have
ma'am.
your due date and your hours at the top. We'll see you October. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Norman.
All right. Bye-bye.
Stay well.
You too. Bye-bye.
So, Mr. Colby, I'm sorry, Mr. Macy, Kobe Macy, can you unmute? Mr. Macy?
Yes.
Hi, good
ma'am.
morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Let me get your file. I have let me kind of give you a rundown of where I think we are, and then I'll see what
Yes.
questions you have, and then we'll go from there, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have a new case. It's not really new, well, it is kind of new. It's July 10th, a stop for running a red light. And if you paid that, it's $269. And I don't have a plea on that charge. How are you pleading to that charge?
On that charge, I'm gonna just plead no contest.
Okay. Now, the other thing I have is a no insurance charge from that stop. And let me just look. I think I did get a plea on those. Let me double check. I just want to make sure we're talking apples to apples here. Okay. Let's see. I've got a no contest plea on an insurance charge from July 26th of 2022. And that one is
Yes, ma'am.
281. That one is 281. And then I have a no contest plea on a expired registration charge. That one, if you pay it, is 151. But I'll talk to you about that one in a minute because I've got a thought there. I have another no insurance charge from July 10th and a plea on that one of no contest. And then an expired registration charge. And again, a plea of no contest. So let me ask
Yes,
you a
ma'am.
quick question. Let's dive in a little bit. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your vehicle registration, I read your note that it's coming in the mail. So my question first and foremost is, do you have it yet?
Yes, I have my registration and I have my insurance and everything, and the only thing I'm waiting on right now is my driver's license to be renewed because on the 26th was my birthday, and so it was all just rolling over all at the same time.
Okay. So the registration, have you sent that in to the clerk yet?
I have not sent that into the court. I've just been so busy with work. I've been getting off around like 8 o'clock every day.
We take
I
emails.
haven't
You
really
could,
had time to.
yeah. You could scan it in, and send it over. You've been on time so
Okay.
far. So here, let me tell you how this one works. This is a compliance dismissal option. And what that means is that if you can get me the registration, like say today, those tickets, I might be able to dismiss them. I need to look at it. I don't know till I really get a good look at it. But if I can do a dismissal, then it's $20 per case, $40. And that's a lot better because otherwise you're paying $362. So it's really
ma'am.
to your benefit to get that over here. So can you bring it by the court or email it to me like right now? You're on a
Yeah,
phone,
I could
so
probably get like a copy of it and
I
send
need
it
the
over to the court.
original, like the thing that you peel the sticker off of. I need that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all the way in Austin and I work here, and so I won't be back in town till like 8 o'clock tonight.
Okay. How have you been signing your extensions? Have you been emailing in to do it?
No, I live in Temple, and so I just went into the court and just went in there and signed the papers.
Okay. Can you come in the morning?
Yeah, in the morning, yes, ma'am, I can come in.
Okay. What time?
What time do y'all open?
We open at 8.
Okay, yeah, I could be there at 8.
Okay. You bring in the registration and I'll see if I can do a dismissal with $40.
All right.
The clerk will be able to tell you whether it qualifies for an automatic dismissal. If not,
Okay.
if not, they will route it to me and give you a 2-week extension.
Okay.
So that's one thing. Sorry, I'm making notes. Okay. The next thing is, were you insured at either time that you were stopped?
On the 26th, I was insured, but it came back as I was not insured because on the 26th, that's when I got my insurance.
Okay.
But I was insured during the stop. It just wasn't pulling up in their database.
Okay, so what we need you to do is,
I gave
yeah, hold on, I'm just checking my file. Just give me a second. Sorry, a clerk is talking to me. I know you're on the phone, and I just need to listen to her for just a second about it, because they, for the 26th. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we just need to know, was he insured that day? Is that a real policy? We're going to see if we can deal with one of those today.
Okay.
Okay, so just hold on. She's calling for us to verify. So that would, if we can get that dealt with, then we're down to your red light charge and your older insurance charge from July. On the red light charge, while she's talking to somebody, let me ask you, have you been to a driver safety course in the last year for purposes of getting a ticket dismissed?
No, ma'am.
If you wanted to sign up for driver safety, you could get the red light charge dismissed from your record.
Yes,
You would need to pay the court costs, which I will verify, but I believe those are $144. We have your insurance, so we can put that, we need license, insurance, and the $144. Can you do that tomorrow?
Yeah, I believe I can do that tomorrow. I just got to check to see if I have all that stuff with me.
Right, license and the $144.
License, yes. I know I need to get my license still renewed. I just haven't had time to stop by the DMV because I've been getting off at 8 every single day.
Have you tried to
or
do it
9 o'clock
online?
Working weekends. I have not tried to do it online, but if there's like a link or something I can go to, we'll do that.
I mean, you'd have to go online and look for that, because I can't actually, but I mean, you just go to Texas DPS, renew license, and you might be able to use the license that you're holding to renew it. And
yeah,
if you,
it's just old because I turned 21 and I needed to get it renewed.
right, so it's expired?
Yes.
Okay. Well, bring us what you've got tomorrow, and let's see how far we can get with that.
All right.
When you come in. And so then that would leave us with, assuming, your July 10th insurance case. I would be willing to grant a deferral. I don't know if you were on the call when I explained what a deferral is. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I have. Where if you don't get in trouble, then with getting a ticket, then they will drop the charges.
Right. You still pay the fees, the fines and costs are $281. So we'd have to figure out when you could kind of pay that out. But it does mean a dismissal in the end. So I have a couple of questions, and you're working,
Yes, ma'am.
you're working as an HVAC installer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it looks like your driving safety course We might get you signed up tomorrow. We might wind up with an extension for a couple of weeks for you to bring your license back. I'm trying to make this as painless as possible in terms of your coming into the building repeatedly. I'm not trying to make that be what you do. Although it sounds like if it's early in the morning, you're able to do it. So that's helpful. On that insurance case, I'd be willing to grant you a deferral of 180 days.
Okay.
And I can give you 2 payments on that. Let me look. So that would be 141 and then 140.
Okay.
When are you paid? Are you paid weekly?
Yes, ma'am. I'm paid every week on Fridays.
Okay, so maybe if we're looking at doing a deferral, we would work out when you can do those payments. Hang on one second. Yeah. It doesn't matter what it's that name. We can dismiss that. Yeah. Okay, we're able to dismiss the one insurance charge from July 26th. We verified.
Okay.
We can scan that insurance card into your red light case. So all we would need is a valid license and the 144 to get you signed up for driver safety. What it sounds like to me is you won't have that license tomorrow unless you get online and manage to do it. So tomorrow,
Yes, ma'am.
you could bring the 144 and do your paperwork and get an extension of 2 weeks to bring the license back, or email us a copy.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can pay the 144 tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then what we're going to be doing is extending you to August 30th to bring it.
Okay.
And you can do it any time before then that's convenient, but no later than that date. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And then on your remaining insurance case, I'll grant the deferral and it will keep it from being a conviction on your record. The insurance needs to scan into that case too. So that insurance needs to scan into his red light case and his July 10th case too. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And then what we'll be doing is we're going to push out for your next, unless you want to just pay it. Do you need some time? Most of us do.
I'll need like maybe a week or two, and then I'll have all the money to pay everything.
Okay. So 2 weeks would be, it could be the 30th when you're doing the other thing, or you could, what I think I would say is you can do part of a payment or all of the payment in 2 weeks on that. I'll go ahead and schedule it. Tomorrow you can sign this paper and it'll say that one of the payments will be due in 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks from that will be the next payment. But you can always pay it earlier.
Okay.
Just late is the issue. And if you go them for 180 days without any more tickets, without any more issues, then I go ahead and dismiss that insurance charge, the older one. And if you get your driving course and your driving record turned in on time, then you get that moving violation dismissed.
Okay.
One of the other things that you brought up in your paperwork that I want to go ahead and be upfront about is I can't give you legal advice about the impact of your license. Okay. Insurance cases can be problematic, most especially if there are convictions. But deferrals are reported to DPS, and it will take a few weeks for your record to reflect that. So what I would
Mhm.
suggest is go ahead and renew. Don't wait to renew your license. You're just putting it off and making it harder. You might see if you
Right.
can do it tonight online, and if you can't, then you know you need to make an appointment with them and get over there to do it. A lot
Yes,
of
ma'am.
times you can do certain, well, what we would call perfunctory things, you know, just deadlines and things. A lot of times you
Mhm.
can just do that stuff online. So I really want you to encourage you, if you're not into the internet or you're not savvy with it, if it's not your thing, maybe you have a friend who can sit down with you and just spend 30 minutes and see what you figure out. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So because it really might benefit you greatly to just do that. And then when this deferral gets reported, you want to follow up with them and make sure they're not claiming that you need to pay some kind of surcharge. Okay, because sometimes
Okay.
even on deferrals, they might give you a surcharge. And I just don't, the issue is there's really no way around it, right? I mean, you didn't have insurance on the 10th of July. You didn't.
Right.
So
Yeah.
all you can do is the best you can do, which is not a hit, it's a dismissal. And that might be beneficial. But I really don't
ma'am.
know. Because I'm not the one who does that part. That has to do with how your record looks to them. And I just can't vouch for that. Okay.
Okay.
I can tell you this is the best you could do, given the reality. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Macy. So you're coming in tomorrow. I'm going to give a court's extension till the morning since you can't get over here. And the clerk, I'm going to work with her after court on just, it's a little messy. We'll get it straightened up before you get here, okay?
Okay.
We'll expect to see you between 8 and 8:30. Does that work in the morning?
Yes, ma'am. I'll see you then.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Macy.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
You're good to hang up. Okay. And Mr. Tony Davis, can you unmute and talk to me? Mr. Davis? Tony Davis? Tony Davis? Hi. Okay, Mr. Davis. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to move to the next person. I'll try you again, but we're getting to the end of the meeting. And, it's not a court meeting if we aren't talking to one another. Mr. Woger, Chris, can you hear me? Telephone people, listen. Hello? Mr. Woger, hi.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Okay, so I reviewed everything that you sent in, and
Yeah.
there's a disregarded signal at a railroad crossing. If you pay that one, the fines and costs are $234.
Whoa, railroad crossing, what? No.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I've got the wrong person. I apologize. Mr. Davis was
Yeah,
ahead of you. Excuse me. Mr. Davis was ahead of you, and I just had his file on top, but he's not answering. And I moved on to you and just forgot to move the page down. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
My
well,
apologies. But so I am on the right
that's
page.
okay. That's,
That's why I start talking about it. So listen for a moment and then I'll take questions. So there's a speeding charge from June 21st. And you entered a plea, listen for a moment and then I'll take questions. You entered a
Okay.
plea. Okay, just so here's the thing, the technology, what happens when you start talking is that first of all, I hear an echo and it's distracting. But second of all, you can't hear me and I'm still talking. So wait until I ask you if you have questions, okay?
Good.
Okay, it'll help a lot. Being on the phone, I know it's probably a little disorienting and I'm trying to prevent some of that. So there's a speeding charge from June 21st, and I received a no contest plea. That ticket is $259. And I will talk to you about the income part of it in a moment. But no contest is the plea I received. Is that your plea at this time to that charge?
Only because they said I was no longer eligible to do the defensive driving. And that's like the first speeding ticket I've had in probably over 30 years. I mean, I don't hardly ever speed, and I don't agree with the 66. 61, maybe. I had my foot going downhill on the bridge. So, it doesn't make sense. So I was told him, I might have been a few miles, but, and I thought he said 61. And now I look at it, there's no way I was doing 66. I'd have been doing 55 and a 50, maybe 57, 61 at the most, 66, no way. He told me, well, he's trained and all this. And I don't know if he ever got the radar gun or what the story was, but it was so hot. It was like 110. I have no air conditioning. I'm going to the doctor to get my medicine. And then he pulls me over, and then apparently all the other stuff that I was not aware of. I had insurance claim paid up, I thought, for, the next 3 months. From one of my emails said I'm covered for 3 months, and that was on August something, so I'm thinking I'm good. And then apparently the inspection thing expired.
Okay, you're kind of getting a little, you're kind of getting a little far from where I am yet. We will get to those other things, but I like to take it one piece at a time if we could.
Okay.
Okay, so your plea is no contest to the speeding, I understand. And the driving safety course, so there, hold on one second, let me ask the court, when did we come in? So yeah, the reason that the course issue is not available is that on your ticket, your court date was in July, in the middle of July 12th to be exact.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. And
well, I understand. Let me talk for just a moment. And so when you miss the court date is why the driving safety course is not really an option. It's not because of the speed alleged, just to clarify, because it seemed like those issues might have been confusing. So yeah, so on, if you were 11 miles over the posted speed limit as opposed to 16 miles over the posted speed limit, the fine difference is about $20. Okay. So
$20.
it's not.
Well, how is it $200 and something over a speeding ticket?
That's a great question. Let me talk. If you ask me, sir, if you talk over me, there's just no way to do a court proceeding where you're talking over a judge, period. It just will not work. So I'm going to ask you again. I'm not trying to do that. But you are doing it. And I've muted you so that I can get a word in edgewise, because you asked me a question, and when I'm about to answer, you just start talking over. And I don't think you realize, I'm going to assume you don't realize you're doing that. But I'm going to put you on notice and ask you to unmute again so we can communicate. But real communication in a courtroom, 1 means that we take turns, and 2 means I steer the conversation because I am the judge of the court, and it's my job to do that. So I need you to get that, because it's starting to get frustrating. Let me answer the question.
Well, I'm beyond frustration.
Yeah, well, don't vent it on me, because I don't believe it's appropriate. I'm trying to answer your question.
I'm not trying to do that.
If you don't want an answer to your questions, don't ask me the questions. I can answer the questions, but I can't shout louder to get you to hear me. I'm not going to do it. So you asked me why it's $259. The answer, if you'll allow me to answer, is that more than half of that is the state of Texas has a court cost that the legislature set that I do not have any control over. The fines, I do. And the fine difference between 11 miles versus 16 miles over is about $20. I'm just letting you know. Okay. Now, let's step off of that issue for just a moment, and let's move over to the next thing. the registration charge. Have you been able to get your vehicle registered since, this all started?
No, I've been trying to get that thing inspected, and they said at the plates on the Exxon or whatever, they said, well, everything is good except your emergency brake doesn't work. So once you fix that, then come back. All right. Well, the mechanic I bought it from, he said, well, yeah, you might as well put brake shoes on here while we're at it. So I got new brake shoes, and he was supposed to fix it, but it didn't get fixed. So I was like, look, it still don't work. It's not, I can't get it like this. And I just paid him like $100 and something to fix all that. And then I said, okay, well, it needs adjustments. And then, hold on, let me get you the thing. And he said, I'm going to include that cost in with the labor or whatever. And then so he came back and gave me the paper and said, that's instead of the sticker, he gave me a paper. But I did not realize that was only good for 30 days. So that expired. That's what happened on that.
So the answer is no, just to be clear.
To what?
My question, which was, is it registered now?
No.
Okay. And then the other question
I'm not driving
is,
it. I can't drive it now.
I understand. I'm looking, I think you missed like a giant part of the discussion at the beginning of court, which starts at 9.
Yes.
I'm trying to see.
I had trouble with my phone.
Listen carefully for just a moment, please. On the registration charge, I'm trying to see if I'm able to do a dismissal at this time for what is called compliance, which I did explain earlier. And compliance means it's real specific under the law, and I'm just trying to help. And right now, I can't get you there. So I'm just going to move on. But your plea to that charge was no contest. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. And then the other compliance issue is it's a very narrow question. June 21st, were you actually insured at that time?
As far as I understood, yes, because I got a thing
But
on
were
my
you?
email.
But were you in a way that I can verify with an insurance agent?
I have to get back with you and call my former insurance place.
Hold on.
As far as I knew, I was, but
Okay.
they said it,
Here's what I think.
I couldn't find the
Here's what I
paperwork to
think-
prove it.
Yeah, I get it. Here's what I think we can do. Okay. If you'll listen for a moment, is if you will bring your insurance paper to us, and if we can verify coverage on that day, sometimes the system that the officer has to look it up, doesn't have the information in it because your insurance company didn't put it in or whatever. I don't know. It's not a perfect system. So you're able to bring it to the court and we can call them with your paper and see if we can verify coverage. If we can verify coverage on that day, we can dismiss it. Okay.
Was it July 23rd or June 23rd?
You were stopped on June 21st. That's the date on your ticket. And we can give you
June
a copy.
21st?
Yeah, that's the date you were stopped.
Okay. I'll definitely check with them and make sure about that.
Okay. So what I think is that first I want to ask you on your registration, how long do you think it would take you to solve that problem?
Hopefully that's not a very expensive thing. And hopefully, well, I'd have to get insurance again. So
yeah,
I'm going to
hopefully.
be checking on that today. So I would say hopefully sometime this week, my best case estimation.
Okay, long case scenario. What if I gave you till September 20th?
For sure by then, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to extend your insurance case and your registration case to no later than September 20th.
Okay, that's going to be very helpful. Thank you.
Now, what my expectation there is that you will get the vehicle registered and bring insurance coverage from June 21st for the vehicle, for you driving the vehicle, no later than that date. Okay. And when you go register your vehicle, you need to make sure you tell them, hey, I got a ticket for registration. There's an $8 penalty fee that they are required to charge you in order for me to dismiss over here.
Okay, $8. Okay.
So you need to pay it because you'll save yourself $181 over here. So that's worth doing. Okay.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
And you know that sheet where you peel off your sticker?
Yeah.
That's the sheet I'm going to need you to bring to the court once you get it done. Okay. Not the sticker, but the sheet you peel it off of. That's what you bring to us. Okay.
Okay. So you have a sticker. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Not the sticker, but the
I got
sheet.
it.
You're supposed to keep it in your glove box. That's the law, but just
Yeah.
bring it by. We can copy it and just make a note fee. I will waive the $20 dismissal fee if you can bring that in, but we're going to have to talk in a minute about you coming by to sign some stuff today to give you more time. Okay. And then what I'm hoping is that you're bringing proof of insurance on June 21st, for June 21st by the extension date of September 20th. Okay.
20th. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So those two cases we're going to peel off right now and see if we can get to a dismissal.
Okay, great.
Now, if we can't, we'll address them at that time. Okay. But I've got to look at everything to know. And of course, we don't have it for me to look at right now. But if the law lets me help you with that, I will. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's go back to your speeding charge. Okay. What I have looked at your financial situation, and it's not a problem, but you've had some hardships. And what seems appropriate for me is that instead of paying that ticket, that you would pay through community service. And that would come to, if we do it that way, that would come to 13 hours of community service. Yeah, of community service to pay that. And that would be due October 18th.
October 18th.
Now,
13 hours. So I get an hour per weekend, or
no, we're not talking about jail. We're talking about you going and doing community service.
Yeah, I go and pick up, clean up, or do whatever, and then they give me an hour.
There's a list of places. Listen, there's a list of places, that I will give you, and you can pick something off of there that you want to do. And I'll give you a timesheet and a list of rules, and you pick a provider and you get with them and figure out when you're going to go, and you get your hours done and get them turned in not later than October 18th. Okay.
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 Got it wrote down.
Okay. So you're going to come by, and I need you to come by today. When can you come by? Yes. When can you come by?
This afternoon. After I got to pick up my boy from football practice, and after he's done, and then I'll be swing by there for sure.
What time does that?
Well, what's that address again?
I'll give that to you in a minute. But what time are we looking for you?
I would say between 1 and 3, hopefully.
Okay, by 3.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll have everything at the front desk, and the address here is 401 North 3rd Street.
401 North 3rd Street. I wonder why it wasn't coming up. I put in 401 at West Adams Street, North 3rd Street. Okay. That's what happened. Okay. I got it.
All right.
All right.
So we'll get you, on the right track. Now, if there's some reason why I can't dismiss with the paperwork that you provide, we'll schedule another time to talk like this, but we would probably want to add it to your community service at that point. But let's go for dismissal on those other two cases first and see if we can get there.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll see you this afternoon. And, what you're doing is just picking up your community service paperwork on the one case and signing for an
Yeah.
extension on the other two cases. And then we'll be looking to
Okay.
get your registration and proof of insurance at the time. We'll have a copy of your ticket too, so you can take it if you need to take it or figure out anything from that. We'll have that up at the front too, okay?
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, Mr. Woger, thank you. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Thank you for your help, Your Honor.
You bet, sir. Bye-bye. Okay. So. Okay. Just have a clerk call us because all I need to tell him is he's eligible for community service. And we can have this. I'm going to disconnect him because it's not working. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad we can figure out what to do to help them. Oh. Hi, can you unmute? Hi, can we get unmuted? Hi.
Judge Person, can you hear
Yeah.
us?
Yeah, we can hear you
Okay,
just
hold on.
fine.
It's Erin. Let me get you Mr. Davis, okay?
Thank
Go ahead and
you.
hang up on that one, okay?
Hi, Mr. Davis, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Thank you for coming in. It's actually perfect because I was going to need you to come sign for something so we can get you solved before you leave, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So there were two cases, and one was disregarding a signal at a railroad crossing, and I received a no contest plea to that charge. Is that your plea at this
Yes,
time?
ma'am.
Okay. Then there was another one for driving left of center, and I did receive a no contest plea. Is that your plea at
No,
this
ma'am.
time?
My license have not been suspended.
Sorry?
My license have not been suspended.
No, I didn't say that. What I said is that you were cited, you were given a ticket for driving left of center. And you dropped on paper, you signed a plea of no contest. Is that right?
I think I did. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is that your plea now, no contest?
Well, I just asked her what was the difference. I just want to say something, Your Honor, and then I will shut my mouth up. She just told me what no contest means.
Right.
I'm not saying that I didn't do that, but I did that trying to help a person in a wheelchair, and I seen it was no train that kept going up and down. A guy had groceries, and he was on the other side of the had called me, and that's who I was going to aid. And then I seen it coming up and down in no train. Yes, ma'am, I did cross to aid this guy in a wheelchair.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Well, the law doesn't really let me dismiss for that because we just aren't allowed to drive left of center because that can also be quite dangerous. But I get what you're saying.
Yes, ma'am.
So I did look at your financial situation, And,
ma'am.
you know, while I can grant a payment plan, I also could grant, instead, I could grant community service instead of payment.
Well, the thing about it is I'm just recovering in the hospital over 30 days of that COVID, and I'm
Okay.
not to my fullest health. Yes, ma'am.
So I could give you quite a bit of time. It would be
Yes,
20,
ma'am.
it would be 25 hours, and you could have until November 17th
Yes, ma'am.
to get that done. If you can't do it because you have a physical problem and your doctor can put that in writing, I can look at
Yes,
whether
ma'am.
I'm allowed to waive it.
I will try to do the first one you asked me to do.
Okay, well, I'll give you
Yes,
some
ma'am.
time to do the hours, and then you
Yes,
talk
ma'am.
it over with your doctor too, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I could work
Okay.
in some place like the Goodwill or somewhere like that.
That's right.
indoors.
Yeah, Goodwill,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't think Goodwill takes people anymore, but you can check with them. They're a
Some
nonprofit.
indoor place. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but I do have some indoor places. Yes, sir.
Thank
So,
you, ma'am.
so there's actually a packet that we need to give you, and we're right next door in the courtroom, and we'll get it ready and bring it out to you here in a minute.
Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
let Miss Stotts is who you're with, and just let her know we're getting your paperwork ready, and we'll have it ready in just a few minutes, okay?
Thank you for everything, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Mr. Davis, if you run into any difficulty getting this done, please come in, talk to a clerk about it, and if they can't help you, they can get you to me so that I can, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I try hard, so I'm going to do my best.
I see that, and I really appreciate when the phone wasn't working out that you came on over. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. We'll keep working with you, okay, till we get it
Yes,
solved.
ma'am. I'll sit back in this lobby until they're ready for me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. I'm gonna
Thank you,
hang
ma'am.
up and work on your paperwork, and we'll get it to you here in just a few minutes. Stay there, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Seeing no further